Hi, this is Mark from Skywagon University doing a completely non-aviation video like the gunstock video that we did. We're going to be turning a wine barrel into an Adirondack chair, just like Stephanie is showing. So one barrel makes one chair. But you've got to choose the barrel correctly. See how these are wide, wide, wide? There's got to be 7 reasonably wide staves. So look around the barrel before you choose it, because some of them have 38 staves and they're all skinny little things, they're useless. So theoretically, if you have 7 reasonably wide staves, you can make one of them with it. But first, you've got to take off the rings, which I have previously loosened so we don't have to watch me do it. 1, 2, uh-oh, here she goes. And then just encourage it. So once it's fallen apart, what you should be able to make, obviously there's the 2 heads, they're called heads, the roundy endy bits. You should be able to make a chair, like I said, but also with the skinny leftovers and the 2 heads, you make 2 tables. So one barrel is a couple of tables and a single chair. So the overview is, I do it in 4 stages. I make this crossbar first, leg, crossbar, leg, so you make it, put it aside, then I make this piece, then I put the bars on the base, then I put this piece on it, then I add the arms. So the first thing you do is you get these 3 you've chosen across here. This is a single, so it can be any width. These 2 should be the same. So we'll measure them and we'll make that. So it is 29 and that's 20. So I need a 29 and a 20. So the first one, crossbar, 2 front legs. And I mean, I've got a cheat chair here to copy. So I'm just going to mark it at 27 inches and chop the ends off. There, the 2 legs. Use the middle of the stave, don't use the bottom and cut it here. Put it in the middle. And that is 20. So 28 and 20. So we need 2 of those. Okay. So this piece here behind, so these go on top. And then we will put some glue on it, thank you. Because it's not an exact perfect fit contact wise, put on quite a bit of glue to fill the gap. And then 4 screws in the front because it's a very high vertical load. Okay, that is that. So then, Stephanie, if you hold that, the next thing is these rear legs that go down to the ground. And they have to be pretty sturdy too, so choose some fat staves. This will be some of the 7 that you chose earlier. So this will go here. And you only cut the tip off it. A little bit further away. And this is very important. They must angle in at the back. So the distance between the tips is 14 inches between the inside tips. If it's too wide, this needs to be wider. If it's too narrow, this won't fit. So I always do 14 inches inside, which is right where it is. But you have to cut the ends off to get rid of the pointy bit. So I'm going to cut it off there. So what is off is the notchy bit that the barrel head went into. So it gives it a better base to sit on. Yeah, that's the wrong side. Just put that on there like that. Make sure it's 14 inside here. 14. There. Then glue. I pre-drill the long ones that go into the grain sideways just because if you don't, they might split. And repeat. Measure 14. Now that bit is done for now. So put it out of the way. Now the next bit is going to be this. Big one, hole, 3 either side, 14 inches across. Well, no, actually, it's going to be at the bottom, about 16 inches across. Now the way we do this, those are the arms. We make the jigs for it to stand on. So what I normally do is this. 2 of those. 2 of those. And then we put the back on top of that so that it's curved. So we put that on there. And then we add. So, bung hole in the middle. 3 either side. You want a tiny, and you want it on this brace so it's got a curve to it. Don't screw them together flat or they won't be curved for the chair. And you want it to be 17 inches. So it's 16 and a half, it's 16 now. But I'm going to space them. So the top, see how the top is stepping down? Just for cosmetics. Step down, step down, step down. Down, down, down. So the bottom's a step down too. And you want that with its gaps, which you can adjust as you put it together. And it doesn't have to be rocket science either. You want that to be 17. So the first thing you do is, see there's bars across. I'll show you on here. On the back of this chair. 3 bars. We're going to put these on at these distances so that when it goes together it's all at the right height. So the first one, the big one, is you want it from the top of it because it's where the arms touch. So to the top of it is 10 inches. So the thickness of the stave will vary that height, so you always go from the top. 10. Pencil. And then I do a line, and then glue. Are we on?
Yep.
So the next one would be this one, and it doesn't matter where it is. I normally do it 6 or 7 inches from the top, which is right where it is. Pencil, glue. Center the stave. You can always see where the bands were, where the hoops were. You can center it with that. and the curve will be perfect because of the one underneath. Okay, Stephanie, pin it down. And these are adjustable. I mean, you can move these still. Once this is on, you can't. So space them as you want them, as you do it now. That oak's tough. This will be this bottom one, which goes about an inch from the bottom of the middle stave. There we are, and it goes about there, so you can see the form coming. So the next thing is going to be these seat bars that go across the front of here, starting with big, ending up with small, and they go back from the front to the last one, 18 inches. If you've got 18 inches, all the rest will work. So we'll put that aside for now. And we'll make this thing. So 18 back to here. Now this bit is easy and isn't rocket science, except this front one, if you look here, just so it's tighter, and it's a curve, there's a little notch in it. So that one, so it can come further forward, gets a little notch, and then the others just go down from it. And you mark that by eye, like that. Take this notch out. So you just cut a little piece off, both sides. Go on there, and it can, don't go below this bar, go sit up on it like that at the front, otherwise you'll get a gap. You want it to be touching. So now we just glue them and screw them on, and put the glue on just on this face, just on this front edge. There's no point in putting it out here because it isn't touching there. So you just put it where it's actually going to have contact. And then we get a couple of screws, shorties. Do it. There we are, that's the base. Okay, a back piece goes in there. And the angle of the back, however reclined you want it to be, is when this is how you fix it now. So just by going from the front to the top of that, 42 inches. And I find perfect, that one's perfect. So 42 inches, and then Stephanie has to freeze in place. Put it up, bam, right there. Now what holds that and that angle are the arms. So hopefully you've saved them, two big ones. They go on here. An inch away, and that is so you can get at these screws later. An inch away there, and flush here, so you're sitting in it, you're not catching on it. So the outside can be different, but the inside as flush as it can be. And then I just generally go 5.5, 5.5. Flush on the side, an inch at the back. Pre-drill, and then you can take it off and glue it. Okay, perfect. Let's check it. Exact, yeah. And don't pre-drill straight down, because you'll miss it, because everything's at an angle. Pre-drill straight down the grain of this. And you have to sort of align it. It's not cabinetry. Same with the back, going exactly in line with the bit that's underneath. Okay, so in theory, that position's now locked. So we can take it off, put glue on it, find the holes. I generally use 2 lengths of screw. For the little, 2 boards on top of each other like here, 1.5, 1 5/8. Into the long grain, 2.5. Deck screws with a star drive on them. And you can actually start them off and leave a little bit sticking out the bottom to find the holes. Like that. Same with the back here. Okay, let's see if we can find all 4 holes. There we are, starting to look like a chair, but if you were to sit in it, this could collapse backwards, which is why I add these. It stops that movement, plus various other bits we're going to put on it to solidify and make it stronger. So this is currently just sitting on here. So we're just going to screw that and that in so the back can't lift. No. Obviously excessively too long, so I cut them off and not flush, do a bit of an angle so it looks cool. And again. Just get it out of the way. Is I'm going to put a block on here so that could never slide back. And for that you just use an offcut, the taper, so that it meets up under there, flush. And then we're just going to put a couple of screws and some glue in it. So these, the way that they go in, like that, and they just fit. So that side flush, this offcut you'd think would work the other side, but it's always just too short.
Pre-drilling?
Down here, yeah. And this touches this touches the vertical here. You slide it right over. Make sure that's up against underneath there with best contact. Okay, just pull that way and in. You know, these two, you must just align them by eye with what's underneath. Right, so see how rigid that is? Now we'll just turn it around and do the other side. Aligned on this face, tucked under there, and in the back there. Stephanie, if you hold that. So it goes. There it is. Ta-da! Stephanie, would you like to test drive it?
Not for it yet. Sure.
Slowly. How's the angle?
Perfect.
Good.
Just need a little cleaning up.
So the next thing you do, I mean that took an hour and a half roughly. You sand it. Sand off all the stains, sand off the crystal, but you can leave the red and then you just put linseed oil on it or varnish it or lacquer it or something. And then like that one there is probably 7 years old, and it's had a couple of springs and a couple of summers of just refurbishing it, and you can see it's still, there's no lines where the hoops were anymore from sanding it. So they kind of age well. Round off the corners, and you can cut a slot in here with a circle so that when you're in it and you've got your wine glass, you can sit there perhaps with a cognac. So that's how you make a wine barrel chair from a barrel. 1 barrel per chair. And these things sell in Napa for like $600 and you can make one in an hour and a half. So this is Mark at Skywagon University, not talking about Skywagons at all, other than the airport being right there, but just a quick video on how to make, because I make these and people go, oh, how'd you do that? So I just made this. But if you want to make one, just get a barrel and do exactly that. And it's 95 degrees today and we're in the barn and it's bloody hot. So I'm sorry that I'm perspiring, but thanks for watching.